check, quick sound check. Can everybody hear us loud and clear? What's going on, Coach Paul?
Hey, Coach Jay. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Hopefully, everybody had a good week and a good end to your week and getting ready for some good plans for the weekend. Coach Hoop is
Yeah.
yelling at us, but we sound good to him, so we're good to go. All caps
Hey,
in the
Coach
chat.
Hoop. And hello to everybody in the chat. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome to At the Buzzer, our market recap. If this is your first time here, could be a little bit louder. Who would you like to be louder, myself or Coach Paul? Just let me know. Welcome to At the Buzz Hour Market Recap. If this is your first time here, I'm Coach Jay. That is Coach Paul. The goal of this segment is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets that you have not traded before, but we believe our goal as traders is to identify opportunity, see how we could have taken advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. And Miles Shea in the chat says, Coach Paul implemented Capital Preservation Friday. Thank you. Risk management over everything. Got to have money to play.
Yeah. It's not like, it's like a casino. No money, no play.
No money, no play. All right, let's see if we can boost this volume just a little bit. Boost it up a little bit on both sides. That should be a little bit better for you all. But if this is our first time meeting, I am Coach Jay. Been a Topstep Performance Coach since June of 2023. I've been trading for the last 12 years and in the futures markets for the last 5. And that is Coach Paul, newest coach of our latest VIP team, the Profiteers. Coach Paul, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Coach Paul. I've been involved in the futures industry for 40 years. Started on the trading floor, and I've been trading off the trading floor for about 20 years. I'm here to share some knowledge and wisdom and aid you on your way to becoming a successful trader. And I'm glad and excited to be head of the Profiteers, coaching the Profiteers. Not ready to make any trades yet, Coach Jay, although you keep dropping big hints about that.
I've been looking at some of the traders that you have on your team, and I'm willing to make some trades. I'll have my people call yours, Coach. We could set something up. I have some pretty nice prospects, but I think we have some traders that would fit our system pretty nice over here with the lunatics. So we'll talk.
We'll talk about talk is cheap. Good
Right.
traders cost money.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, let's get into the markets. We did not have much as far as news goes. Coach Paul and I were just kind of scanning headlines. Not really much to say as far as that goes. We did have housing starts come out pretty much as expected, and outside of that, no major headlines or anything. So we'll get right into the markets. We like to focus on the markets that moved for the day. There are about 35 markets that we could trade with Top Step accounts, not just in the equities. And today, Coach, the opportunities were outside of the equities. To the downside, we have gasoline futures, RBOB down 2.15%, wheat futures down 2.8%, and nat gas, our biggest percentage mover to the downside at 3.49%. To the upside, the metals, copper up 1.6%, platinum up 1.97%, and silver, a big one, 6.79% to the upside in silver. A massive move. If we look at the big four that we trade at Topstep, gold up 1.09%, making new all time highs again. The NASDAQ up 0.6%, which it didn't feel like it. The S&P is up 0.34%, and crude oil, the only one to the downside in our big four, down 1.78% to wrap up that big four.
Wow. Well, like you said, Coach, there was opportunity in the equities, but the big winners were outside that realm. I didn't know. Silver up 6%. So
It's a
those
big one.
silver coins I've been holding for decades are starting to pay off.
More sense on those. So really nice move in silver. I am going to. I think we liked the 4 up look yesterday, so let's try it again. I think I should have actually. Hold on 1 second. let's do it this way. Take this link off, and then we go 4 up. All right, now this should make it easier. We'll look at the 4 equities together. We'll look at 4 metals together. We'll look at 4 energies together. So give me 1 second to set this up. We got the NASDAQ on the top left. We have the ES on the top right. We have the Russell, which is the one trade I took in this Topstep account today, in the bottom left. And we have the Dow in the bottom right. Get the link off there. So 4 equity markets, coach. Not a lot of movement. We know we did have OPEX options expiration today. So by the time we got to the New York session, there was opportunity. It was just a very, very choppy day from what I saw.
Well, I'm glad you put those up there like that, because that's the Dow on the bottom right.
On the bottom right,
It looks like a completely different than bottom left.
which is the
They're
Russell.
two different
Yep,
charts.
2 completely different charts.
The Russell. Yeah, I like that layout. I hope our viewers get some value out of that. So with that, where do you want to start?
So
You were
I want
trading
to
S&P this morning on
correct on Topstep TV. So I want to start
Topstep
with
TV.
I want to start with the S&Ps because Coach Paul and I were talking about this trade that we took in the house account. We did get long at 58.94. We got long about 10 lots. We wound up cutting the position for break even, and we were talking about, and we had this conversation yesterday as well, right? Timing versus location, where we had really good location on this trade, and by the time we got in it, where our stop was originally set, the market never traded lower than that price, right? It just took for the, a decent move. It took at least 2 hours, if not more, to get the market to move. And I think it's a different trading style. For me, I'm not as comfortable holding it. I asked Dakota, who, holds trades a lot longer than I do, what did he think about this? And he said himself, he's like, you know what, I don't really like the price action, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it. But I know Dakota could probably find himself holding on to those trades definitely a lot longer than I can. Coach, the thing about the ES, we had, what's the white line down there?
Oh, yeah, I don't remember. Tell me.
The white line, 200 moving average. These are all 30-minute charts, and you guys know how often we talk about the 200 moving average being that, that great wall, very strong level of support or resistance when the market trades into it. I'm zooming out. We're going back to October 15th. We can see the 200 moving average holding somewhat. If I zoom out even further, we trade below it. Once we accept back above it, it acts as a support. And then again this morning, we had a test of the 200 moving average in the S&Ps right off the open, right? 58.87 was the 200 moving average on the 30-minute in the S&Ps. And when we got into that trade, coach, I'm just like, okay, I know we have that. Our stop should go somewhere underneath that because we know how important that level is. And if it breaks, it breaks. And then the whole trade idea is wrong. I think this is where personally I need to get better at just taking a trade and letting something else happen, right? Or letting it play out. But I really didn't like the price action that I saw. We ended up cutting the trade for scratch. How would you manage that one?
Well, from what I do is, if I'm going to buy that off the 200 moving average, I'm going to look at the average true range and give it room. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but the average true range, I believe, at that time in the S&Ps was about 7 handles, 6 handles. So let's just say it's 12 handles, $600. Now, when we're talking, let's talk about position size. If my risk budget, and is 10% of a $4,000, all right? And this is on one trade, right?
Right.
Which is a little too heavy. So let's cut that in half. All right. Um, let's just say it's $300 on any one trade max. I can't do. I have to go to micros and size it up. That's the way I look at it, and I'm going to give it some room because it bounces off of that. So I have to size it up right and be comfortable with getting stopped out. When I mean comfortable, because this is a constant struggle for traders. You put it on, and what was going on at that time too is we watch every tick, and I know this. When I'm watching every tick, it's good, bad, good, good, good. This is the one that got bad, bad, really bad. Oh shit! I gotta get out. Gotta get out. I just get out now. I don't want to take that. So if that's happened to anyone, I'm part of that club. Until you get comfortable and say, okay, I'm willing to risk 300. I put on X amount of micros, 5 micros, let's cut it, and put in a stop. And if I do it on a half hour bar, I don't check it for half an hour. If I'm doing it on the 5 minute bar, well, then I don't check it. Uh, that's being comfortable in a trade. And what I know is because that it took forever, and it really never really, it really
No, it didn't.
didn't. And there's a part of us that wants that instant gratification because once in a while we get that trade where it just goes on and goes with us with no heat. And I think deep down we want that every time. It doesn't come,
Yeah, it's
unfortunately.
not gonna happen. Um, yeah, it's a really good point, right? I think I was okay with the risk that we had on it originally. I think with the 10 lots, we were risking about 6 grand, which is a reasonable risk in that house account. Um, I just really started to grow to not like the trade anymore, right? And I think looking at the candle by candle, tick by tick price action, and I don't look that deep into it, right? But I'm looking at least at a 3 minute, maybe a 15 minute if it's that consolidation. Just didn't look good anymore. And like you just said, it's not. We don't really get to decide how the market is going to get to where we want it to go. Uh, we just have to allow it to get there. So um, I didn't. We cut the trade, and it happens. We'll take another one.
But and it really didn't. I mean, even if it was anytime you were long today, it just
It'll make you feel good.
yeah, it was did not. And you know what? That's part of not being comfortable, right? It didn't feel good. And it really it was slow. Um, I like to look at the hourly chart real quick because the first hour bar in the S&P, we left that range, but VWAP anchored to that hour did not. So it didn't all day. So let's analyze that. What does that mean? There wasn't aggressive buying. There was buying, but that buying was pushing the market. It wasn't, the buyers were not urgent, right? I think the only urgency was sellers, short-term sellers that had to reach anytime it made new highs, and it made a lot of new highs and didn't go anywhere. But important, let's just get volume. Got was bought early, right? And there was no follow through buying. Really, it was a some allocation most likely. Um, and that's why I think it never felt good because there was no real good follow through buying as witnessed by VWAP. Volume just was, it was the high in the first hour and it was half that the rest of the day. I found that very interesting.
Very consolidated day. Again, OPEX days normally look like these. Dan says, not a great Friday, but not terrible either for you, Dan. Good to hear. Again, there's opportunity in this. If you were a range bound trader, you probably love these type of days. I heard Fatima on Topstep TV saying she hates trend days and really likes to trade these type of days. And Hogue has mentioned that as well, where you know where the basically like the parameters of the market. I know this is somewhere near the high, this is somewhere near the low, and if I set my stop outside of that, then I can be okay, and then just accept the time. If I'm looking at an hourly chart in the Nasdaq, it looks even worse to me. And when I say worse, right, those are through my eyeballs. Where in that
No.
first hour we looked above the high of that first hour a couple of times and accepted right back into it. If you're a range bound trader, flat VWAP, this is exactly what you want to see. Some really good opportunity. Really good opportunity. Uh, the
Buy
one
the
trade,
bid and sell the offer.
yeah, pretty much. The one trade I did take in this XFA on Topstep TV was a long in the Russell, and same idea. The Russell was kind of leaning towards the downside, but if I zoom out and I'm looking at a higher time frame, coach, and I pull up the moving averages again, and I actually do it so we can see them. We had the 200 moving average in the Russell. Looking at it, we haven't hit it for a little while. We were trading down towards it, and we were in this higher time frame demand here on this 30-minute chart. So I took a long somewhere near 2290 and was just looking for either a reversion to this VWAP anchored from the session open, or maybe a return back to the 3-minute opening range, which is this box here. I'm looking at the bottom left chart. We got the reversion to VWAP. Wasn't the biggest trade in the world, but something that I saw presenting an opportunity and went ahead and took it. I think I told you, coach, I took 2 trades today. That was one of them. The last trade I took was right into the close in the S&Ps, where we checked this VWAP from the New York session open, and I took it for about 6 points to the upside and took that trade off.
Nice trade. You know, it's funny looking at it from that longer term point of view. If you squeeze, yeah, that that today looks like, if I see that and I'm sitting on an EKG machine, I don't want to see that.
Right.
Just for me, but what is that telling you? It's the market was literally dead. It was so carving out a trade like that, finding a spot that works for you, that fits the parameters what you're looking for. That's where trading discipline comes in. And I would link to that, expectations. You were not expecting much from that. You were comfortable with it, and well-defined trade. We hear it all the time on Top Step. As Coach Hogue says, if you want to find a trade, you
You'll
will.
find one.
Right? That's not a well-defined trade, but a found trade. And so if you can carve out that, and that, good on you. That was nice.
Anything else on the equities, coach? I know you like to look at the weekly charts, especially because we are on Friday. So let's zoom out a little bit, take a look at the weeklies, and then we'll move on to the metals. I'll go out to 1 week, and we got our weekly charts up here.
Wow. What is that chart on the bottom right?
Is the Dow 44,000 on the way?
Well, look at this last month's action. Wow. And then let's compare that to NASDAQ.
Here on the top left.
Yeah. It's trailing behind.
Give me 1 second. Kind of take these events off of here, but go ahead. We're good.
Oh, okay. But I mean, look, this is ripping. It can't. You think you can't get enough buying in there versus NASDAQ. It's just, it looks bullish. They all look good to me. They look good. It's a relative term for a trader too. So I should say they look bullish. But stark difference between the Dow and the NASDAQ.
Yeah, Dow and ES making all-time highs. NASDAQ definitely lagging behind a little bit, and the Russell doing what the Russell does. New all-time highs in the Dow, 43,581 is the new all-time high. Coach, I don't know if you caught the shoulder tap segment today, but I did it with Andre, and we pulled up a couple of trader reports, and there was a trader who, over the last 6 days, made 47 grand in an XFA. Looked at the trade
Hmm.
report, all they were trading. Looked at the trade report, 37 trades, 100% to the long side in the S&Ps and in gold.
Love it. Taking one side.
Taking one side, identified a market that was trending. I'm not overthinking it. I'm just going to buy it
Wow, and hold it
and
because
hold it.
like you said 37 trades.
37 trades in the week, in 6 days, made 47 grand, and 22 of those 37 trades were 4 hours or more.
Wonder if he's watching at the buzzer.
I don't know. I don't
You
know,
are
but really,
buying it off a VWAP break, and that's great. And that's great trading. I think like, the big lesson in that, and we've talked about this before. If you're trading 100, 200 contracts a day, you have to examine what's going on. Um, it's it's a lot of trading, giving up an edge, um, and the cost. Um, it can be done. You know, I've said it before: trade less, make more. What a story! There's a person who's looking for their edge, patient in finding it, and lets his winners ride.
for it to play
Um,
out. Yeah, that's the biggest one. And not trading a ton of size. There were some bigger trades in there. There were some 10 contract trades in there. But what I really thought was cool, there some of the 10 contract trades I saw, he may have taken a three lot, allowed the market to move in his favor, and then like 2 hours later is adding to that position in another good spot, and then the entire trade is a winner. So if you're watching, shout out to you. Really nice trading. Um, and let's go to a couple of questions before we move on to the medals. Uh, Storm Dragon, question for the coaches. Every time I think there must exist a way to filter out the markets more and make better trades based on that. I mean, sometimes it makes no sense what the markets do. Uh, yeah. I think that's why we talk about maybe not having so much of an opinion about what the market does and just trying to pay attention to what it's telling you. It's why I use VWAP all the time because VWAP is volume. And in my opinion, volume moves the market. And if I can tell what direction that volume is going, then I don't have to have an opinion. I just need to find a place to get in. If I try to make sense of the markets, if I try to make sense of news, if I try to make sense of any kind of headlines, I find myself behind a lot of the time. Um, so I try to stay in the present for what the market is telling me in the moment, um, and keep my opinion out of it. What do you think about that, Coach?
um, boy, I feel it. But my story is, yeah, markets. I worked at the exchange for the exchange when I first started as a board marker. Yeah, been a long time ago. Chalk in the board. And I went to school in the evening. I was an econ major. And I thought that if I could just master all the economics, I would figure out markets. And then I traded, and it made no sense. Um, because the markets and economies are two different things. Um, so if you're struggling like that, understand that you're not seeing it, and whatever your process is, I would step back for a week, and maybe you're trying to predict what's going to happen. And Coach Jay just said he uses volume because that gives him what is happening. Um, that's when I hear that doesn't make sense. That's where I go right away. Like, this needs to go up or this needs to go down, and it doesn't. So I'm not in step with it. And the more I studied trying to figure out everything goes on the market, the worse I did. Take a week, analyze what you're doing, and go to your practice account and start from the idea of to start looking at volume. Start, also, if you want, trade really small and trade less, and focus on risk management rather than the market itself.
Uh, all right, let's move on to the metals. Let's move on to the metals. I'm going to pull up gold on the top left that made a new all-time high today. Someone had asked me how am I pulling up 4 different markets with the links. I know in this setting up here, when you go to select layout, if you choose the 4 and you have symbol unchecked, unchecked. What the hell did I just?
It's
Un,
Friday.
I
I
mixed I
almost
mixed
choked on my
I'm
drink.
I mixed unselected and unchecked. It's been a long week, everybody. Uh,
Thank you for that, Coach.
no problem. But you need to remove the link as well. So if you have chart links, right? If you have your charts linked to your DOM, if you have your charts linked to your DOM, you want to remove that link as well because that's what's keeping all of the charts on the same uh, symbol. So top left, gold. Top right, silver. Top bottom left, we're gonna put copper. And is there another metal? Platinum.
Um, Let me check. Oh,
It's been a long week. I've done a lot of
yeah,
talking
it
this
has
week,
been.
especially today. Um, so here we go. 30-minute charts on all of these markets, and
Jesus.
gold and silver on the top, copper and platinum on the bottom. All of these presenting some really nice opportunities for trades today. Um, Obviously, silver being the biggest one. I don't personally trade silver, especially not in a Top Step account. It's a little too big of a contract. But let's frame out the first 30 minutes of each of these markets from last night. Let's see. I'm going to try to do this. And thank you, Andrew, for helping me figure that out.
Yes, thank you, Andrew.
Uh, Here is first 30 minutes in. Is that right? Did I do that right?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Yep, no problem. You want me to take you off camera for a second, Coach? Sure. Coach Paul will be back. First 30 minutes in gold from last night. The really nice trend up day. Let's look at silver. Frame out the first 30 minutes in silver. And Lazy Lion, I saw your question on this. Do you leave the opening ranges from Globex once New York session starts? That's a little bit of a preference thing. Uh, Up to you if you want to leave them on. I usually do. And the second half of your question, what do you do about the overlap? If there's a lot of overlap between the Globex 30-minute open and the New York range open, what that tells me is the market hasn't gone anywhere, right? So I'm looking for the market to potentially break out of those ranges. But if there's overlap, that tells me that the market likes these prices and it's going to stay there. Uh, if we look at these, I mean, these are just all beautiful examples of the same exact trade in a couple of different places. Pick which one fits your account and take it was really the idea here. Um, Here's platinum. All right, so we can see the difference between the equity markets and the metals today. The move was in the metals. Micro silver is available. SIL is the ticker, and it's a fifth of the silver contract. Was there news in silver? Not that I saw. I'm sure there was. Uh, and I know we have some traders that are usually in the Coach J chat that are looking at silver. Uh, Kagami, I know you're in here. I saw you in here. I hope you were trading silver. I know you had a silver position on, but just really nice trends in each one of these markets. Coach, you back?
I'm back.
There he is.
Are, are we on the tsunami yet?
Yeah, I mean, man, just look at this, right? So all of these have just really nice trends from the start last night. Uh, broke out of those Globex opening ranges and never looked back. And we've been seeing where in the Asian London session we're getting a retest of that opening range and a bounce. Today they said, you know what? Nope, we're just buying it all, right? Anything that shines, anything we can make jewelry out of, uh, we're gonna buy it. And really, really nice trends. Really nice trends.
Wow, that's silver. That's a classic. That's literally when you first brought it up. First thing that came to my mind was tsunami. Um, that's wish I was trading silver today. No, and in all seriousness, someone asked earlier, what was it like in a pit on a day like this? Be honest, terror. Because here's why: any mistake that you made is going to be 50 times worse than usual. And so what I'm saying is, if we have an out trade, and an out trade is, and it is the worst thing. I said, Coach Jay, I'll buy him, and he thought I said I sold him. So now we're both don't have a position. And if we were flat at the end of the day, we have to make that position good. It could be on a day like this end your career. So as a trader, even as a broker, um, it can be terrorizing. This is where you see, it's like roadkill. Oh, you know, John blew out today. Yeah, you got caught on like a $800,000 error. Um, so it looks great on the screen, even if you're trading it, you, you make an error, or if you're on the wrong side and you get frozen, you're done.
Yep.
So while it looks great, because the first thing we go to in our mind is, look, I could have made, you
Right.
right? I mean, we look at a first half an hour from last night. It was probably an urgency trade. Look at that. Oh God.
Yeah. That
Um,
that's the definition of urgency. Not
yeah,
right,
it's
and not
urgent
even this, right? We don't know that that's gonna happen. This is urgency, right? And there are clues that it's urgent, right? The first 2 hours, the market's leaving that range and volume leaving the range with it.
and this is one where you can lose your mind in this. If you bought it early and you got out, and you think, you did a good job and you made a great trade, and then you come back now, all you can think of is, why the fuck didn't I keep that? Because you didn't. It wasn't part of your plan. Um, at least that's happened to me.
True.
I am human,
And
but if you're a position trader or you're an investor in silver, you got the at dinner tonight. You got, I told you. You know,
right.
uh, uh, but I'd love. Let's look at a daily and a weekly on that, because
We
it's just been trading sideways.
Really breaking out. We got some traders saying too, I had a long in silver close to the low and got scared out. My XFA couldn't handle the risk. It makes you wonder what's going to happen on Sunday. Uh, Daniel Dykstra says, when you get that feeling like, oh man, why didn't I hold it? Then you turn every trade into a runner. Sometimes they run the other way though, and, and we don't get to choose we don't get to choose when those happen. Um, but yeah, here we go. Daily charts for all of the metal markets. Obviously, gold has been the one that's been, kind of rallying to the upside. Come on, why is this doing this?
Because it's Friday.
Hold on a second. Let's fix these ranges. All right, there we go. Hopefully, you can see that now.
What a run.
What is happening to these charts right now? I'm sorry, guys. Hold on one. Hold on one second.
I'm sorry for asking to go to the daily.
No, no, no. It's okay. It's the charts should be doing what I want them to do and they're not. So give me 1 second. Just uncheck all of these. There we go. There we go. Daily in copper, daily in gold up to top left, daily in silver top right, and daily in platinum. Um,
Maybe the platinum's and then the next one to go like silver
yep,
because it's been lagging. There's even when with 1983, 84 platinum was $1,200 and gold was 800. What is platinum now?
25.
10, 20, barely barely changed. And gold is almost 3,000. Silver, same time period when I first started as a board marker, I used to mark prices of silver. Silver was at $40 to $50 an ounce. What's it right now?
B3.
Yeah. Wow. Hmm. I have to check myself. My emergency is like Katie bar the door, go get some silver. Um, or trade the long side of silver. But there's mini silver. Is there micro silver?
LSIL is the ticker. It's a fifth of the
Yeah,
contract.
a fifth of the contract. Yeah, like the minis at the mid am, 1/5. Now, you, I'll be adding that to my repertoire because the breakouts here.
We look at these on the daily charts. The daily in all of the metals above the 200, but gold clearly the strongest out of all of them with the 20 and the 50. Clear distinction between the 20 and the 50 moving average on the daily in gold. And we've been seeing it present all-time highs, really nice trending days. Copper's been really nice as well, but copper did just have this reversion to the 200 moving average on the daily. Platinum is probably the flattest of all of these markets and the most range bound, but above that 200 moving average as well. But really not seeing that breakout in platinum yet. And then, of course, silver starting to trend up, some distinction between the 20 and the 50 moving average, and a really big move today. And yeah, one to potentially watch. If we're looking back, these are, I don't believe they're obviously not all time highs in silver, but they are highs in the last 5 years at least
Yeah,
that we just made today. So,
boy, and that looks like rocket fuel to me. That's a really bullish chart when I
yeah,
look at it that way.
yep.
Hmm.
$49 we got from F. Thomas's all-time high in silver. Thank you for that. Anything else on the metals, coach? We're going to move over to the energies.
No,
All right, let's put crude
nothing. Eh,
oil top left. What other energies do we got? We got RBOB was a big mover today. RBOB, what else? We got heating oil. And somebody give me another one.
RBOB heating, well,
Oh,
natural
nat gas.
gas.
Nat gas.
That's
How
one
could
we
I
haven't
forget?
talked about enough.
How could I
It's
forget
always
nat
on the
gas?
percentage mover up or down.
All the time. All the time. We focus a lot on crude, but not so much nat gas. I'm gonna hide the drawings again real quick. We'll go to 30-minute charts on all of these markets. We'll zoom out so we can see what's happening. What is happening?
Right.
Under the 200 moving average in crude oil, under the 200 moving average in RBOB gasoline futures, heating oil as well, and nat gas. Coach, we've been seeing these energies, somewhere near the high or the low of that percentage mover list for the past 2 weeks or so. We know why in crude oil. Some of the headlines that we're seeing uh, overseas and supply talks. Uh, but the energy is presenting some really nice opportunities.
Oh, well, right there, that fell off the cliff. Right off the 200 moving average in the bottom right. What is the bottom right? Was that natural gas?
Bottom right is nat gas. Yep.
All right. Is that
Well,
then that's the half hour
these are daily
daily?
charts. My bad. My bad. My bad. Let's go to
No, that's still fell off the earth.
Bear with me again, chat. This new four up. There's a lot of brain power required required to get everything to look the same way. And like I said, it's Friday. I don't know what that word was that I said before, but
Uncheck it.
unchecked. Uh, under the
That
200. Okay, so now all of these charts look exactly the same.
Yeah, don't they? I find the most interesting one in the bottom right, natural gas, and it's just we haven't really covered that in a couple months, and it's just a great trade. Wow.
Zoom out. It's been in a downtrend since October started. We got under that 200 moving average in that gas on October 4th, and we have not looked above it for very long, right? We had one check above it and just trending lower. And coach, I know I had asked you this when we were looking at nat gas a lot in Discord. Can it trade below zero?
And every time someone asks me that now, it's going to be, well, yes, it can. Because before the crew did that, I would have said there's no way. And
Right.
I would have been proven very, very wrong one day. But yeah, it could cost the carry. Um, there's a lot of natural gas in this country. I've heard it described as we are the Saudi Arabia of natural gas. There's plenty of it. Um, and it seems that we talked, just find a place to sell it for now. Um, but there is a trend. We blew up that versus the crude oil. And looks like I've been forcing crude oil trades, it seems like, and it's broken, but it's not as dramatic as that natural gas.
I think that that's the one thing where we're humans, we're kind of creatures of habit. We go to what we hear a lot of, and it's crude, and it's the one to default to. But there are markets that are presenting. Look at the week, just the week, right? We've been talking about this crude oil consolidation for all of this week. We had this sell off on Monday, but we've been talking about this consolidation all week. And wow, I just added a bunch of drawings to these charts, so I'm going to take those off. Uh, but in the same time frame, look at nat gas, right? Crude oil chopping around, we're hoping for an opportunity. In the meantime, nat gas is making consistent 3% down days. Um, Very clean trend. And again, if you're depending on where you are in your trading journey, maybe you're not looking at many different markets. But one of the big things and why Coach Paul and I, really enjoy doing this at the buzzer segment is there is opportunity in other places. We talked about it today during fast markets, right? We're trying to force a trade maybe in the Nasdaq and the ES that wasn't really doing what we were looking for. Is there another opportunity to do so? What I did was go to another equity market, but really what I should have done is go to an energy or one of the ags, right? Because soybeans made a really nice trade as well. For me, it's identifying a setup and finding where that setup is playing out, and it's clearly doing it in nat gas right now.
Yeah, it's how come my gas bill is not getting any cheaper?
Hasn't hit the streets yet.
They never say we're going to cut it by 5%. It's not as volatile as the futures market, but nice moves. It's funny. We got away from that. We've had people pass combines just trading natural gas.
We have.
Um, it's a great contract.
So, Coach, I want to ask you something, and I think we have. So, right now, I don't know the fundamental side of this, right? And maybe Coach Hoop knows this, but the seasonality of all these energy markets, is this a thing that we see kind of going into the winter normally, or is this something else? Because all these energies are doing the same thing.
Well, this is the November contract.
Correct.
Now, remember, natural gas trades. If you ever open up all contracts, I don't know if I have it on my other charting, but it will trade in different months for 4 years where there's volume. And so there is a seasonality and it's priced into each individual month. But falling this sharp and consistently in front in a November contract, that's probably against the seasonal. Um, because as you would expect, it goes just like your bill. If you have natural gas, heat goes up in the winter. Hell, it goes up in the summer. But the cash market, um, they have prices for different seasons. So seasonally, you know, more research um, does a great job on seasonals is Coach Hoop. If you watch Coach Hoop, he goes into those seasonals, and this seems to be counter seasonal. So, um, great trade. Heating oil. Look, which one is
Yeah,
the heating oil on top? And look at
bottom
that.
bottom left heating oil.
So, I don't know. You're in New York. Do you use heating oil?
No,
Because I think it's only in the Northeast that uses heating oil, but it's also a good. Um, it tracks diesel fuel prices very well. It's almost the same formulation. I've been told. I don't remember, but yeah, heating oil much the same, but it does it much more dramatically, doesn't it?
it really does. Anything else on the energies, Coach? I mean, we went to almost all the asset classes, but the farm. But any questions that we have in the chat as well, please let us know. Right now, we're kind of just going through, looking at a bunch of different markets, um, getting back to how we started at the buzzer, honestly, and focusing on a bunch of different places. Obviously, when you're taking a trade, you need to narrow in your focus, but sometimes it's good to zoom out. Same way we do on higher time frames, right? Zoom out and look at what asset classes may be presenting good opportunities for you, finding that one and then zooming into there.
Yes. You know what, Coach? Let's look at Bitcoin.
Let's look at Bitcoin MBT. We should have pulled that up with the metals, but Bitcoin, we will look at the top or the equities, right? Which one? Here's
Yeah.
micro Bitcoin on a 30-minute chart, Coach.
Hit a great move today. Well, it's a great hit a good up move today. It's great if you're long it. Probably not so great if you're short it. But been on a steady rise. Um, is this the highs of the move?
69,250 was the high today.
Yeah. So it's been, finished the week very strong. I think. Look at that.
It's a
Um,
30-minute. We'll go to a daily.
so there's a nice trend line, and we're right near it from the all-time high. We've talked one, two, three. We're sitting right there. We didn't set. So as we were talking yesterday. This is on my scouting list on the buy side. We could have a melt up here similar to silver if we can get close above that trend line, and for all you Bitcoin enthusiasts, um, you could have your 100,000 in a few months. The key word could.
TH.
And this is not trading advice, not investment advice. I'm analyzing what I've seen in charts. Um, this trend line is off the all-time highs. It's important. It's hit there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just like chipping away. And all of a sudden, just like silver. God damn it! I
Really good
wish I
chip.
would have been in silver. Um, but yeah, keep that on the scouting report. Oh
Thank
wow.
you for that, Coach. We do got a question from here. Great filibuster. Hey, Coach, how can a struggling trader know if the struggle is only a slump or if it's an indication that the trader should quit trading? Big question there, Coach. When should you quit
Wow.
trading, if at all?
No, there's
Real. It's a real
the time
question.
to quit. It's a really good question. I quit trading and I ran floor operation for a large grain dealer. And I also advised on hedging, and I stopped speculating. What we do is speculative trading.
Right.
And I was still involved in the markets, but during that period, I did not miss trading day to day. And I got some time away from it, and then I got back into, because, like I told you, I tried to figure the markets out through fundamentals,
Right.
and I had no risk management. And 95% of gurus, trading systems talk about just do this and you're going to be rich quick.
We're
None
doing
of
that then
that.
too.
Yeah. And all good, some good meaning, some just scams, but I don't remember. There was never a headline said risk management. This is how you manage an account. I mean, it's not a sexy thing. So it took me 5 years of watching professional hedgers manage their risk. Right?
Understand that it was necessary.
Yeah, it's number one on the list. And then I started coming back um, to trading, swing trading, trading small, focused on risk management, not having to be right, just trading right, taking losses. So sometimes quit. It takes some time off. It's not happening. And if you're in a stressful situation where you have to make money, don't do it.
Right.
Don't walk away. It sucks. It's hell because you're not going to make good decisions when you're in that frame of mind where you have to make money. I, I would just say if you're in that, walk away for a while. The market's going to be here and you might have some insight and you come back to it with a fresh pair of eyes. How about you, coach?
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. There have been times where I've taken months off, 6 months, almost to a year off in the last 12 years doing this. And it was exactly that, right? Having to decide whether or not this is something that I really wanted to do. And I think what's most important, and like Coach just said, when you come back, you have to come back with something different. Right, coach, if you just took a break and you said, "No, whatever, I'm just gonna save up some money and go right back at it the same way," you probably would have had to quit again, right? But you came back understanding that risk management was necessary. When I took a break and then I came back, I said, "You know what? I have to, um, know how to handle my emotions when I'm in a trade, or I'm going to end up in the same position." So take some time off. It's okay to. The markets are not going anywhere. There's too much money in these markets to go anywhere, but you can decide in a on a day-to-day basis or for a period of your time, hey, where does this fit in my life right now? And if it doesn't, that's okay, right? You can decide when you want to come back, but if it's not fitting right now, and if you're asking that question and you're thinking about it, take some time off, take a week off, and see how you feel, and maybe you extend that. But if and when you decide to come back, understand why you're stepping away right now, and then when you come back, try to change that. How do you know if it's a slump, right? Because that was part of your question as well. Maybe you don't think you need to step away. How do you know if it's a slump? If it's a slump, are you repeating the same process every day? That's what I'll say. If you're repeating the same process every day and your trades are just not working out, but there's consistency in what you're doing every day, then maybe it's just a slump and maybe that time off needs to be a couple of days so you see the market well. If you're kind of spiraling and everything looks random, right? Random sizes, random markets that you're trading, random entries, then it's a little different. That's probably not a slump. That's what I have to say on that.
Well, that's a real question, and I'm glad, those are those. It's why we're here. Like Coach Jay just said, he's been through it. And then sometimes you take that time off and say, no, this is not for me. I, I know a lot of people came to that conclusion and said, I just can't do it. Uh, Whatever it is, there's just no shame in it. Matter of fact, it's it's a very good point. But you know, step back. Um, right now, it's I don't think you can make that decision because it's right now it's very emotional. But Coach Jay just said take a week, 2 weeks off.
Also, remember what we are doing here, Top Step, is day trading. There are a lot of different ways to be involved in the markets. Day traders don't have to trade every day. It's the one thing that is, I think, not emphasized enough. You do not have to trade every day, right? So if you sit at your desk and it feels like a chore to do so, and you're just not in the right mental space, you don't have to click the button. You might not make any money, but you're definitely not going to lose any either, right? So think about that as well. I have no problem being like, you know what, I'm not going to trade. I'm not in the right mindset. I think I said it 2 weeks ago and at the buzzer, right? I looked at the charts and I said, I don't want to do this today. So instead of forcing myself to do it and losing money, just not going to do it. It's okay. It's okay. But I think I learned that through having to take those extended breaks where bring your best self to the charts or don't bring it at all.
Amen, brother.
Right.
So true.
Um.
Wow,
What
that
else?
was a great question.
For sure. Great question. We got about 5 minutes left, Coach. Let me check my notes. If there's anything else that you want to say, any other words before we go into the weekend, I'm going to pull up my notes just to see that I'm not missing anything.
Yeah, but usually on Friday you have a weekend. Um, get some rest, do something enjoyable. Don't fret, and then spend an hour reviewing last week's action and how you did. We have that's all available on Top Step X, and go back objectively, review and improve. Every one of us can improve, um, and do it when it's a good time to do it. Whenever it's on a weekend, there's no other where you have time, and just spend an hour. You don't have to spend all day, you know, and get some perspective. See where you can improve. See if there's something new that's going to help you, and then enjoy life. Have a great weekend.
You got nothing else really? Actually, here we go. Traders Canada actor Aaron Ellis is joining Topstep TV on Thursday, October 24th at 11 a.m. Central Time. Make sure you follow Topstep TV on socials. There's the Instagram link. Here is the Twitter link. Follow Topstep TV there. Uh, I got nothing else. Like Coach said, enjoy your weekend. Do something fun this weekend. Get some chart analysis in at some point. But if you had a good week, if you had a bad week, if you had a week that you learned, appreciate that the work that you did because we all do work really hard at this. And it's nice to step away for a little bit to appreciate life outside of the charts. So thanks everyone for joining this week. If you haven't already, hit that like button before you leave. Remember, our week at Topstep TV starts with Nick for a Tick on Sunday evenings, 4:45 Central Time with the market kickoff. I believe Coach Hoop is doing a class in Discord right after we get off of here. But enjoy your weekend. Until we talk to you next time, have a great one, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Thanks. Bye.